Last week we have discussed about the inheritance. So in inheritance, we have discussed how to define the derived base class, derived class, and the what are the members can be accessible in the derived class. There are different. Here we have discussed the some programs in the previous classes. Okay, so today first let us start with the previous week program. Then we will proceed to the next topic, that is protected modifier. First we will briefly discuss the program. Okay, so this program we have discussed last week. There is a class, base class, where one integer private member x is there. So this is your constructor, this is your print function, and again in the derived class, the class name is derived, and it is inherited from base. So syntax of derivation syntax is class, derived class name, then extends base. Okay. So then within the class, so here again I have declared one private integer variable y. Then this is your constructor. Then in a previous week we have discussed here, instead of print we have discussed this one is display function. Okay, display function was there. Then inside display function we have printed the value of y. Then here in the main function we have created the object of a derived class, that is d1. Here it is reserved the space. Then d1.print. d1.print means it will call the print function which is present in the base class. And the print function is, you remember here, you just remember, print function is public function. That's why you can call this print function here directly through the derived object. And here d1.display, display function, to call the display function which is its own function. Okay, this thing we have discussed last week, last class, and let us compile and execute this one first. The program name is test inheritance3.java. Sorry, inheritance3.java. Test inheritance3. So here x value is 10. Just see the program here. X value is 10 initialized in the constructor of base class, and y value initialized to 20 in the constructor of derived class. And automatically when the object, when this line executed, so 10 and 20 initialized through the constructor when it is created the derived class object. Then print function print the value of x, and display function display the value of y. Okay, so this is the program which we have discussed last week. Okay, last class. So today we will extend this thing to the next level, that is here suppose in the base class there is a print function, and in the derived class again I will put this, instead of display I will use print. Okay, same name I have used here in the base class as well as in derived class. Okay, so function name is same. Understood? So now here in the main function, if I call print function, then which function will be called. So let us see what will be the answer. Which program we have executed? Java test inheritance. Have we saved the? We have not saved. Okay. Okay. So here only it is called the derived class function, not the base class function. Okay. So its own function. So like okay, when we call the print function in this program, here this print function will be called from the derived one, not the base one, because it will call from its own, even if this is present in the both the classes, as in base as well as in derived. There will be no problem. Remember, there will be no problem if same function, same signature is there in both the classes, in base as well as in derived. Okay, but it will call the its own. Okay, now see, now what we will do, how can we call the base one? How can we call the base one? Now let us check one thing here. I'll write d1 dot base dot print. Okay, now let us see this one whether it is working or not. Okay, d1 dot base dot print. d1 is the object name, base is the its parent name, parent class name, and print. Let us see whether it is working or not. Okay. Error, cannot find symbol base. Variable base, this variable base word is not detected. Okay, that means you cannot call the function of base class through derived object like this. Okay, so now how can we call? So here location variable d1 of type derived. Okay, so inside d1 there is no base class. So this is the error. Remember, it is not accepting here. So now how can we call it, refer it? How can we refer it? We can refer that function in the derived class directly using super keyword. Super keyword is a keyword using which we can refer the parent method or parent method. Okay, super dot print inside the derived class. Just see here, all of you just see here, inside the derived class I have created one print function, and inside the print function I have written super dot print. Means if I will not write super dot print, what happens? If I will not write super dot print, what happens? So to call the parent function, you just write super dot. Okay, super keyword will be used to refer the parents method. Parents method. Note down, super keyword will be used to call the parent method. Now here inside the current this derived class print function, here I am writing super dot print. Okay, so I am removing from here. Now let us see whether it is working or not. No error. Okay, so because of this this line, here it has printed x equal to 10. Because of this line, it has printed x equal to 20, y equal to 20. Okay. So using super keyword, we can refer the parent function. But if the parent function name is something different, then we don't need to use super keyword. Directly we can use that. Okay. So even the same now, here we have learned that to call a parent function, we can use super keyword, and it is not necessary always. It is necessary when you are inside the current function, current class, same function is there, same named function is there, same parameters are there, then super keyword required. Okay. So this concept all now we understood. Now here another concept is another concept is here, that then the same function name is same function with same signature. When same function with same signature inside the parent class and inside the child class available, then that concept is called function overriding. Function overriding. Overloading already we have discussed. Function overriding means same function with same signature in parent as well as in child, then that is called function overriding. Okay, you will note down later. Just for now you understand, function overriding means here inside the base class function print is there, inside the derived class function print is there. So with no parameter, return type void, here also return type void, public. So that means the signature also same. When the two function with parent and child signature is same, then that is called function overriding, RIDDING. Okay. So next, so here to call the parent function when overriding is the overriding is happened. So to call the parent function, you need super keyword. Okay. So this thing we have discussed now. Now let us come to the slide. The super reference, which we have discussed now. Super reference, first point is constructors are not inherited even though they have public visibility. Okay, constructors, but here you have seen constructors are used automatically. Here in this program, base class constructor is there, derived class constructor is there. It is inherited, but it is not called. Okay, so it is automatically called. It is automatically called. But if the constructor is parameterized constructor, okay, then you automatically the constructor of base class will not be called. There you need to call, and at the time also super keyword required. So we will use it later. So next point is, yet we often want to use parents constructor to set up the parents part. The super reference can be used to refer to the parent class and often used to invoke the parents constructor. Okay. So super reference we have used to call the parent class. Next, see, a child constructor is responsible for calling the parent constructor. So inside the child constructor, we can call parent constructor. Okay, if you want to call explicitly, then super keyword required. Then next one, the first line of the child constructor should be super. Okay, we will see the reference constructor later. The super reference can also be used to refer other variables and methods defined in the parent class. This thing we have discussed now. The super reference can also be used to reference other variables and methods defined in the parent class. So in this program, we have called the refer the parent class using this super keyword. And remember, this super keyword you will write inside the derived class only, not outside the derived class. Here you cannot write d1 dot super print. Okay, here only it required. Okay, now let us write a program where constructors will be called using super. Okay, constructors will be called using super. in this base class, there are two constructors. So as you know, constructors are the name is equal to the class name. And here this is a constructor which is not, where there is no parameter. And here there is one integer parameter. And here x is initialized to 10. Here x is initialized assigned to t. Okay. Now come to our derived class. In derived class also, here I have written one derived class, two constructor. One is with parameter, two parameter, another is without any parameter. Okay, so this is the thing. And here just this thing, suppose I have not written. Okay, let us remove this. And here y equal to q means q, whatever q value is received, that will be assigned to y. Okay, now here in this main function, I have created the d1 object, and at the time of creation, I passed this 5 and 7 to the constructor. So now what will be the answer? Here d1 dot print function will be called from the derived class, and inside the derived class we have written super dot print. So here it will be called the super function, and here in the super class again print function is there where it is printing value of x, and here it is printing value of y. After printing value of x, it will print value of y. So it's okay. Now my question is, what will be the value of x and what will be the value of y when it will print this print function?
5, 7.
Here answer is, see here this simple, just try to know here 5, 7 is passed to the constructor, derive this constructor, and p is received 5, q is receiving 7. Now q is assigned to y. There is nothing is written where p will be assigned to x. Okay, here it is written only y equal to q, means y will be 7. Okay, so after when it is called, it will not call the parent class, this one, this constructor. Okay, now what will be the answer? We will see. Okay, let us compile and execute, then we will discuss. Got the answer? X equal to 10, y equal to 7. Just let us see. Here, when the derived constructor is called, here this derived parameter is constructor called, and 10 is assigned where? In the base class, the base class constructor where there is no parameter. That means automatically it has called this one, not this thing. Okay, so this one is called, here x value is assigned to 10. So that means x is 10, y is 7. Okay, now we will discuss here. Now here we will write x equal to p. Okay, here I will try to write this x equal to p. Okay, so here can I write x equal to p?
No,
can
sir.
I write super dot x?
No,
x
sir.
is private, so we cannot call. Super dot x also not allowed. Okay, because x is private. But I want to assign p value to x. So what I will do here, I will call the base class constructor from the derived class constructor. Which constructor? This one. I want to call this one from the derived class constructor. So what I will write? Super. When I write super method like this, super parenthesis, then it will call the base class, its parent. Super means its parent constructor will be called. And which parent, which constructor? Default or parameter, that depends upon what are the parameters you are passing here. Okay, now here I am passing p to the super, means it will call the parent constructor. Super is a reference which is reference to the parent. So here parent constructor will be referred and one parameter is passed. Now here it is receiving one single parameter constructor will be executed. That means t value is received here by t is assigned to x. Okay, now output will be 5 and 7. Let us see. Okay, x is 5, y is 7. So the intention of the writing this program is to how to define, how to call the base class constructor through the derived class constructor. Super keyword, as we have seen in the slide, super keyword is used to call the base class constructor. Super keyword is used to refer the base class methods. So here this line number 30 is written is for refer base constructor. Here call base method. Base method. This is print function of a base. Okay. So now we have seen how to call a base class constructor, how to call a base class method. So this is the concept which we have discussed now. This just again we will see from the slide, this slide, the super reference constructors are not inherited even through the public visibility, yet we have often want to use the parent constructor to set up parent part of the object. Super reference can be used to refer to the parent class. Often it is used to invoke the parent constructor. Okay, a child constructor is responsible for calling parent constructor. The first line of the child constructor should use super reference to call the parent constructor. As we have seen here in the child constructor, the super we have used to call the parent thing. Okay. The super reference can also be used to reference other variables and method. Here we have access other method, means parents method using super. Okay, so this is the concept now we have learned. So this is another example. There is a book class and dictionary class. These are two different class. Okay. Sorry, here there is no this. Here there is syntax error, and by mistake I have left this one. Here public class dictionary, then extends book. We have to write extends book so that it will refer the book parent. And here dictionary is the constructor is written, and super name num page means it will call the parent. So here it will be, just a minute. Okay, book is there, and dictionary is there. So inside the dictionary, book is extended, and super using super function, I have called the parent constructor. Now come to multiple inheritance. Okay, multiple inheritance. Before proceeding to the next thing, I will show you something in this slide also. So let us, not in the slide, I will show you in Word or where.
Yes, sir.
So before proceeding to the next level, next thing, I will show you by drawing something. So there are three types of inheritance, mainly four types of inheritance. First is your single inheritance. Just note down, single inheritance. Okay. Second one is your multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Next one is multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Next one is your called hierarchical. hierarchical inheritance. Okay, my handwriting is a little bit not clear in this board. Okay, single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and the next one is your you can say hybrid. Okay. Now we will see which one, what is called this single inheritance. Single inheritance means from one parent to another parent it is created. Okay, like suppose first note down the single inheritance. This suppose this is one parent. Sorry. Suppose one parent, like a book, here we have seen book. Okay. Next, there is a child dictionary. Okay. And as I told, when inheritance drawing is there, this is called actually, this type of drawing is called UML drawing, Unified Model Language Drawing. Okay. So here, book is your parent, dictionary is your child, and dictionary is inherited from book. Okay. This is called your single inheritance. Okay. This is called your single inheritance. Next, next we will the programs which you have seen currently, whatever programs that base derive, whatever programs we have discussed, that is your single inheritance. So next is here it is multiple inheritance. Okay, which type of inheritance is called multiple inheritance? Okay, let me erase this thing. Okay, multiple is just like when a parent is more than one, suppose A is a parent, B is parent, and C is child, then this is called multiple inheritance. Remember, people are doing mistakes. Okay, this is called your multiple inheritance. Okay, and normally students are doing in the exams mistake. Suppose A is here, B is here, C is here, B is derived from A, C is derived from A, then they are saying this multiple. Okay, but this is not multiple. Multiple is this one. When more than one parents are there, then that is called multiple. Okay, when one parent, multiple childs are there, then this is called hierarchical inheritance. Note down, this is called hierarchical, this one. Hierarchical inheritance. Okay, so this one is your hierarchical and this is your multiple. Just try to understand, when more than one parent, then multiple. When one parent multi-child, then that is hierarchical. Okay. Next, come to our multi-level inheritance. These are the UML drawings which we are discussing. Multi-level means there are multiple levels. Suppose A is here, A is the parent, B is the child of A, and C is the child of B, then this is called multi-level. Multi-level inheritance. Multiple levels are there. Okay, and don't confuse multiple and multi-level. Multi-level means multiple levels are there. Multiple means from multiple parent, single child is there. Okay. So this is the about the different types of inheritance. Then now what we have discussed: single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. Now, next one is hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance means where different types of inheritance is combined. That is called hybrid inheritance. So how many inheritance we have discussed? Single, multiple, multi-level, then hierarchical, then hybrid. 5 types of inheritance is there. Okay, and in Java, multiple inheritance is not allowed. Okay, is not allowed. Multiple inheritance. Okay, Java supports single inheritance, meaning that a derived class can have only one parent class. That is called single inheritance. Multiple inheritance allows a class to be derived from 2 or more classes. Then that is called multiple inheritance, inheriting the members of all parents. So collision, the problem is collision, such as same variable name in two parents have to be resolved. Okay, that's why Java does not support multiple inheritance. Java does not support multiple inheritance. So in most cases, the use of interface, we will discuss later in this semester topic, subject, interface concept, where we can use multiple inheritance concepts. Now, multiple uh, parents does not have single child use and multiple inheritance in multiple parent classes not allowed in Java. Okay, so the interface concept we will discuss later. Then next we have discussed today the overriding methods. Two methods, same name, same signature in the parent as well as in child, then that is called overriding. So to call the parent, we need the super keyword. Okay. So overriding a parent method can be invoked explicitly using super reference. If a method is declared with the final modifier, then it cannot be override. That means final keyword we have discussed. So final keyword means you cannot modify. If you set a method as final, then that method name you cannot use in the derived class also. So that is not allowed. That means override is not allowed if you make the final in the base class method. The concept of overriding can be applied to data as well as shadowing variable. So that is called shadowing variable. Shadowing variable means parent as well as child. If same variable is there, then that is called shadowing variable. Shadowing variables should be avoided because it tends to unnecessary confusion. That means same variable don't try to write in parent as well as child. It will create the confusion. Parents, it will call the parent or child. Okay, but you can write. Okay, so this thing we have discussed. The next overloading versus riding. Okay, overloading means in don't confuse the concept of overloading and overriding. Overloading deals with multiple methods with the same name in same class. Suppose inside the class, multiple method having same name, like multiple constructors, same name, but the number of parameters are different. So that is signature is different. Then that is called in the same class multiple methods having same name but different signature, then that is called function overloading, method overloading. Okay, overriding deals with two methods, one in the parent, another in the child, that have same signature. If same signature within parent and child, like we have seen the print function, print method, so that is called overriding. Overloading lets you define a similar operation in different ways of different data. Okay. Overloading lets you define a similar operation in different ways for different data. Okay. Overriding lets you define similar operation in different way in different objects. Hierarchical, as I told you, child class of one parent can be the parent of another child, forming a class hierarchy. This is book, dictionary, novel, novel, mystery, hierarchical. So this is one hierarchical inheritance. Okay, next class we'll continue this object class. There is a predefined object is there, a class is there, that name is object, which we will discuss in the next class. And